All right, so welcome to my office. Let's dig into spequeZ. I'm going to start with just the very first step, which is meeting with the client and how I use the tool to make me look smart. All right, let's look at it. So I am going to go into just a general sourcing. And whenever I talk to other leaders or recruiters who use the tool, this is like a gold mine that they just skip right over, because most of the time recruiters, they just want to jump right into the search. But if you want to be a consultant, you really need to start here, all right? So let's use an example. I want a full stack engineer. And one thing I love about spequeZ is it gives me all kinds of different variations of the title, which is good for me because I'm not really a tech person. I recruit tech. I love tech because it makes me lazy and look efficient. But I don't know the difference between an engineer, a developer, whatever. And so that's one of the things that I love about the platform. So I'm just going to pick two just to kind of make it easy. And if you do not have a saved list of locations, then you are truly making a lot of work for yourself. So I've got one that is 7 states in the Northeast. Let's just look at what that is. And then for skills, we'll do Node.js. And again, notice that based off of the job title, it's giving me some recommended skills, which again, I love technology. It enables me to be lazy and look smart. So that's why I love spequeZ. Let's just say they want to do React Native on the front end. So whenever I'm meeting with a client, I'm actually sharing my screen because I want them to be able to see that right now we have 3,400 candidates in these 7 states that I've selected. For experience, let's say they want a candidate who has got, and I'm going to do this on purpose, let's say 15 years or more of experience. So I could not have planned that any better. It went from 3,400 to 340. And the reason I like to do that is because when the clients start adding all of these crazy requirements, they're able to see the impact on the job pool. And for me, that is a way that I can leverage data through the platform to be able to consult them and say, okay, do you really need 15 years? Can we do 10 years? So let's just see if there's a difference in backing it down by 10 years. And yeah, it 3 times the number of candidates. All right, so I don't think React is that new, so let's just back it down to 5 years. I'm also going to look at years in current role. We all have clients that go, I don't want anyone that is bounced around in a while. So I can look at 2 to 4 years, I can look at 4 to 6 years. And if you use your insights, you'll actually be able to see how often people change their jobs, and then you can come back in and alter your search, but we'll do that a little bit later. So let's say I want a senior, okay? So I should have a pretty decent list, about 2,100 candidates. And this is where recruiters just jump in. They start doing the mass emails, trying to identify who's good, who's not. And for me, you're missing this wonderful little gold mine that they finally put right into the search, all right? So I'm sitting with the client, going through the job. We agree on the preliminary job description components, like the meat, right? I'm going to go in and show them the analytics, all right? So the top portion, for me, the top titles, that's not really something I share with the client. I mean, I show it to them, but I don't really get into it. That's more for my benefit, because if I start seeing that, instead of full stack developer, it's full stack engineer has got the bulk of the job titles, then maybe I need to go and change my search to look at senior full stack engineer. We can see the top skills, the top companies, past companies, the top industries. And what I like is I can double click into this. So if I want to look at people that are just in financial services, let's say that's one of the requirements that they wanted, but I got them to take it out. They can see that out of these 2,100 candidates, roughly 400 are in financial services. So it shows the contraction in the pool just based off of the industry. The top locations. So this is important. I used this whenever I was working for a major financial institution. We were trying to figure out where do our tech hubs need to be? And I went right into insights and said, okay, it makes sense for us to do Charlotte, which of course you have several banks that are located and home bases in Charlotte. Philadelphia. I don't even know where that is in Georgia, but that's interesting. So I'm able to give some advice and look, here are the top 3 markets based on what the data is telling me of the most qualified people based on the job description that we agreed to. But here is what I love, all right? So you get these managers that say, I want to pay $110,000. That is my absolute max for a senior full stack developer that's got React and Node, and they've got 5-8 years of experience. If you're in tech, you are kind of laughing on the inside going, you're an idiot, right? I like to use data to prove that people are really, really off base. And if you look at this, you can see that the bell curve is anywhere between 150 and 170. I don't have to say anything. A lot of times I just kind of go, and here's the salary information, and they're able to have this aha and say, okay, well, that's not going to work for us. Then I can change the conversation and say, all right, do you really need a senior? Do you really need 8 years? Let's see if we can play around with some of these search terms to make the search within your budget, but also not giving me golden handcuffs. And then diversity is another huge thing, especially for me. I'm very passionate about DEI. So I always want to look at how diverse is the pool, because I'm going to use that analytic metric to be able to judge whenever the recruiters are actually recruiting. They go, we can't find any women. Well, makes sense. You know, only 11% of the 2,100 people are women. What do we need to do to make ourselves more attractive to the female tech talent? Or are there different tactics that we need to take for an underrepresented group than what we do for the majority? So that, for me, you know, there's all kinds of other really cool stuff in here. But if you're working for like a large organization, you're responsible for talent strategy. This top schools and top degrees is something that I would encourage you to look at, all right? So we'll kind of stay in this line of thought with full stack. If I want to develop kind of a junior or an associate program, and I already know that for the seniors, I'm looking for this skill set in these particular cities, this is just gold, because now I can go and focus on the universities that produce most of that talent, and I can look at the degrees, I can look at the concentration. So for the college recruiters that I managed, this is where we spend a lot of our time, because it was like, all right, I want you to focus on UTD, I want you to focus on University of Houston, and I want you to focus on the University of North Carolina. And I want you to go into the computer and science and engineering, and I want you to be best friends with the deans of that college. And that, once we started really honing in on that, our college program took off, because again, we're leveraging data. So whenever I'm meeting with recruiters and they just jump right into the search, I'm like, whoa, you're missing out on like one of the best pieces that make you a talent advisor versus a reactive, put a cheek in the seat